This is Alfredo with the Real Talk, and today we're gonna talk to somebody, all right, that I met sometime. We built a relationship. A good friend of mine, he was in town, and I'm like, dude, let's get this done. And I'm gonna ask him a little things about his business, what he does for the community. But let me introduce him, Emenyo Segbefia. I always get his last name wrong. Emenyo, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, and yourself?
Good. So I know you're in town for a day or so.
Yes.
And I saw your post this morning, very bougie of you, where you're staying at. I'm like, oh, it must be nice.
So, I just went for a little run.
That was nice. I know where that is, by the way. But you're in town now. Just for those of you that don't know Emenyo, he's with Chenoa Fund. If you don't mind telling the audience a little bit what Chenoa is, what does it do, and then we'll go on with the show.
Yes, Chenoa is a national down payment assistance provider. I know you have a national audience, so we help everybody from, let's say, California all the way into the East Coast, like Virginia, except for New York is the only state that we can't operate in.
Nobody does New York. Nobody can operate in New York, apparently.
When I first moved there, I moved to New York, so it kind of hurts me a little bit, but it's not our fault. It's mostly, So then we provide 3.5 or 5% assistance to buyers, either forgivable or repayable second.
So now, one thing that you had mentioned to me before, I know we had this conversation before, is about there's usually the question about if I'm buying a second home, is there a down payment assistance for a second home? And I believe you guys do a second mortgage, right, for a second home?
No. So what we do is we provide assistance on your primary residence.
Okay.
So if you currently own a home right now and you're saying, hey, I've outgrown this home, my family's growing, I want to keep this home as a rental because I have a great rate from, when COVID happened.
The 3% or the 2.5%.
Hey, I'm never letting that thing go.
Yeah, right? I'm sticking to that shit.
Exactly. So now you can turn that house into a rental and purchase a new primary residence. And Chenoa will help you with your new primary residence.
Right. So if it's a second home, like you moving into this second home that you're buying, then you do get an assistance. So you're doing a second, right, on the down payment. Is that right?
Yeah. All our down payments are second mortgages.
Okay.
So So whether it's silent or repayable, that just depends on what you want to pick at that point.
And I say that because there's not a lot of options for that second home. Let's say you're buying another home, right, to move into.
Yes.
There used to be some, but now most of them are gone, where now they're only for first-time home buyers.
Correct.
But in this case, since it's a repayable
or forgivable
second,
yes.
So you actually do get the assistance in a way to buy that second home that you're looking for, and the one that you currently have, you can turn to an investment, correct?
Correct.
And that now, why do you think, and other than generational wealth and creating wealth, I mean, I think it's a good product because that will open the doors for you to invest in another property, right?
Correct. So the reason why is because what we're trying to do is help people get into a home and help people create that wealth. One of the biggest ways to create wealth in America is through homeownership, as we all know. So giving the people the ability to be able to tap into that, especially people like us that do not know or just don't have the means to get the education, is something that we're very proud of, and it's something that we always focus on, is trying to make sure that people understand that there's ways to do this, and then you can use it doing a second mortgage, and Chenoa Fund is one of the vehicles.
Dude, that's awesome. And then recently you got a new position.
Yes.
What's the position called again?
Director of Business Development.
What does that entail?
So what that entails is Chenoa Fund, we're making a transition. And that transition is basically we're going to become a one-stop shop for all types of assistance products. Because what may work for you may not work for me, because we're in different positions in life. But we're trying to make sure that we can help different types of buyers. So like your first-time buyers, your second home buyers, or somebody that's in the tech field that makes a lot of money but needs some assistance in getting because they get paid on a different scale. So it's getting them into the assistance and getting them into a home is what we're trying to do. Or your high cost markets where Chenoa Fund may not work very well, is we're looking for different avenues to make it work for them. And even like builders or structuring loans in a certain way that is beneficial to the buyer.
And I know that recently we had a call. You called me like 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
and we spoke, which is why because you told me you were coming in town.
Yeah.
And we talked a little bit about the struggles of the buyers nowadays, right, or the community. What struggles we're having because your job is to determine how we can find an answer to those struggles, right?
Correct.
How we can fix that.
Correct.
And do programs for underserved communities.
Yes.
You know, that's very important. Now, how did all this politics going on, it's affecting your ability to perform?
So what this politics has done and shown us is we need to diversify, and we need to make sure that we're in the market and helping people because, you know, for a long time, Chenoa Fund has only offered the FHA product.
Okay.
But now we're diversifying into other products because what this market is showing us and the politics is showing us is we need to make sure that we're strong in any market and make sure that we're improving and doing things to the betterment of our home buyers and our partners that are working with us.
So do you think that the issue with, I don't know, I'm sure you heard, but like on the 25th, they're going to start doing loans for non-residents, right?
Yeah.
So anybody that had a work permit that was able to obtain an FHA loan and use some of these products, now they're going to have to rely on conventional.
Correct.
And that's where you're turning also too into providing assistance for this type of loans, right?
Yes, that's correct. So so it's because it does limit some of our business because our businesses we did allow people with visas, EAD cards, because I was a visa person at one point to permanent residence and then citizenship. So yeah. So yeah, it only took 15 years.
Yeah, hey, whatever it takes.
So yeah, so then so understanding that market, understanding that yes, there's some good people, some people that want to become Americans and they want to do good in the community. And another way to build up the community is making sure that people have homes. Because once you have homes, you own it and then you respect it more.
Now, Chenoa is not the typical, like, we'll call Chenoa to get approved, right? So you technically would have to go through a partner, a lender partner, to be able to access to some of your products, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So when you reach out to a Chenoa Fund account executive, what we'll do is we'll help you understand, okay, this is your borrower, this is who you have. And so your market, you're in the Las Vegas market or Nevada market, then we'll say, okay, these are the lenders that you can work with that are Chenoa Fund approved. Correct.
And then does any lender, can any lender get Chenoa approved?
Yes. They do have to meet a minimum criteria of being a fully delegated lender where you can underwrite your own loans. They have a minimum net worth requirement of $2.5 million. And then also they have to meet a neighborhood compare ratio.
Oh, nice. But they can do it. So anyway, and then who would they reach in order to do that? They can reach you? Or?
Yeah, they can reach out to me, and then I'll help them get approved, and then.
So anybody, any of those lenders or mortgage companies that want to use these products or offer these products to their clients, they can reach Emenyo, or they can put a comment. We'll send you guys their information, so you guys can try and get approved and see if you can help more buyers with these products, right?
Correct.
Now,
sorry, one thing I wanted to add is I don't want to forget the broker community. We do have avenues for brokers. So if you're a broker that wants to use a product, we have lending partners that are using Chenoa on their wholesale channel to have you.
So all those wholesalers out there that offering those good rates.
Yes.
Contact Emenyo.
Please do.
Get that shit done. Oh yeah. So I didn't ask you this, but we're gonna go back a little bit. Where are you from?
I'm from. So my history is complicated.
That's fine.
And I was born in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, to Ghanaian parents. Okay. So if you know the whole jollof rice argument, I'm in the middle of it. Okay. It depends on which country I like on that day.
Which which side of the bed you wake up?
Yes, which side of the bed I wake up. So, and the reason why is because my dad was a businessman, and then he worked in the electrical stuff for refineries and all that stuff in Africa. So we used to travel between Ghana and Nigeria about 24 hours.
24 hours?
Yes. So we had homes in both places.
Okay.
So, and then businesses in both places. So primarily when I was born, he was based in Nigeria, but we'd go back and forth. So then, so I was born in Nigeria to Ghanaian parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and then you came to the States. Now, before you even started working with Chenoa and all this, how long have you been with Chenoa? You've been
I've been with Chenoa for about coming up on 8 years now.
8 years without the Segbefia. We'll forget about that.
Forget about the
So about 8 years. And then, what did you do before?
So before, I was trying to go to school to become a doctor.
You wanted to be a doctor.
Yes.
You wanted to become you were going to school to be a doctor.
Yes.
And what happened? Too much blood or what?
So actually, I can do anything bloods and guts. I can't do anything dermatology.
Oh.
So yeah.
Really?
I one of my friends at the time, no, still friends, he was anesthesiologist. So he was taking me around, showing me all the different surgeries. So I saw open heart surgery. I was in the operating room. I was like, I love this. And I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon for a pediatric cardiothoracic surgeon, just basically a kid's heart doctor. And then I met a guy playing football. And he's like, hey, maybe you want to look into mortgages.
And football, you mean soccer?
No, not soccer. American football.
Okay.
Yeah, because not a lot of people in Utah play soccer.
Right.
So it's kind of cold, too.
It's Utah.
Yeah. So when we met, he started talking to me. He's like, hey, you have a great personality. You become a good AE. And that's when Chenoa was growing at the time. So I told him at the time, hey, I'll work part-time for you, but I got to go become a doctor because, our community is either doctor, lawyer, athlete, or celebrity. Yeah. That's the only thing we think about. So for a while, he was recruiting me, and I said, you know what? I got married. I was kind of broke. I told my wife, I was like, hey, it's going to take us 15 years to do this thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, we need to start a family now. So I got into Chenoa and got into mortgages.
Well, technically, you're still fixing shit.
Yeah, I'm still fixing stuff. It's just not on the human body.
Yeah, but you're still fixing, families and shit, so that's good.
Yes.
Let me ask you mentioned football, but let's talk about soccer real quick. Mm-hmm. Nigeria or Ghana?
Ooh. Both.
Oh, you can't say that.
I can't get disowned, man. I gotta go back home.
So you gotta go.
I gotta go back home.
See it over there. Finally, we'll share it. We'll make sure they see it. He said both, okay?
I said both. Just make sure.
Yeah, make sure you said both.
Well, right now though, they're both doing good, so I can't disown the other one. Yeah.
I'm more of I think I like the Nigeria team better.
No comment.
That's me.
I plead the fifth.
But I don't I don't have that issue. So, but I do get that issue when we talked about U.S. and Mexico.
Oh yes,
I get that, and I'm like, ooh, it depends what day. So what day you ask me.
I'm trying to put together a little crew to go to Mexico City to watch.
The World Cup.
The World Cup game.
Oh yeah, let me know.
I can't speak Spanish. I need a translator.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll be right there speaking Spanish with you.
Okay.
Yeah, Mexican Spanish.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go. So
as long as I'm there, I'm good.
We'll be like, this is my cousin. We resemble. Okay, so what do you like most about working and being part of Chenoa, and what do you do?
So the best thing is, I didn't realize how intense mortgage lending was. Okay. And to be honest, when I first started Chenoa, I didn't even know you can do down payments. Because when my brother bought his home, I thought he put 20% down because he works in
That's a very common misconception.
And because he works in tech. So tech, everybody thinks everybody makes money, which is true. And since he did that, so the natural progression was he put 20% down. Yeah. So when I got into Chenoa and I started asking him questions, he said, no, I did this at, FHA 3.5%. But when the time market was good, I had to get it down to. So back to the question is, the reason why is because I like helping people, hence why I wanted to become a doctor. I knew I wanted to help people in some way, somehow, just trying to make that work. And then the other thing, too, was what I really like about my position is now I get to go out there and research programs or research ways to help people. So, and then the best thing is you get to meet amazing people like you, too. Yeah. So, thank you. To me, it's the creme de la creme. I like meeting people. I like putting puzzles together and then just helping people in general.
What's the most important thing about, let's talk about the meeting and all that. What's the most important thing for you is about building relationships?
Everybody has a different story. Everybody's unique. Yeah. No two people are the same. And take it back to primitive things. Animals can sit and talk, but they're all speaking, they're speaking essentially the same language, but they're saying it in different tones. Yeah. And they're vibrating at different frequencies, but they understand what they're saying. It's the same thing as human beings. We're just more advanced because, we build stuff and
we evolved.
So it's the same thing as that. Like I meet people all across, and people have done unique things. There are people that are very successful, and then people that are just starting in their careers. So meeting people, learning from them, to me is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I get that from my dad. When I was young, I remember going into driving the back of his car, and then going to meet people with them.
Yeah.
And I see how he handled with meeting people, and some things that he would budge on, and some things he wouldn't budge on. So that's where I get a lot of like meeting people and then being happy to be around people.
Yeah. How's your Spanish?
So growing up in New York, I take full blame for this. I only learned all the bad words. So
that's normal.
If you need somebody to curse somebody out in Spanish, I got you.
You got me.
I got you.
That's why we're going to Mexico City.
Exactly.
He'll take care of me for that.
And then, so I was working with one of my lenders out in Florida, a whole Spanish team. I realized I can actually read Spanish. I just can't speak it.
So you can actually understand it and read it?
No, I can only read it. So they wrote it down for me, and they said, enunciate this. So I enunciated, using my Spanglish as best as possible.
Your Spanglish.
and they said I did pretty well.
Anything's good, right?
I'll take it to the bank.
Yeah. So, you are in an industry where you deal with entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm sure with the relationships that you have built and the stories that you have heard, what advice would you give people nowadays with everything that's going on? What advice would you give them if they're entrepreneurs and then going into this rough market, into this rough political aspect, of this rough media aspect, because everything is all screwed up? What advice can you give them?
To me, the best currency is your network.
Okay.
And
explain that.
And the reason why I say that is the people you know are the people are going to get you places. The sum of the people you know is who you are. So if you coming from the Bronx, New York, it was easy for me to get into gangs. It was easy for me to do anything bad. And I promise you, I was a bored kid, so I did some stupid stuff. And that wasn't even related into...
Let's get into that. What kind of stupid stuff? What are you talking about?
We're going to have to take this one off there. But no, I did a lot because, as kids, you're bored, so you're just looking for things to do. Yeah. And in New York is a big city, so when you have a lot of friends of different backgrounds, different things happen. But your network of people are the people who you become. Yeah. So I surrounded myself with basketball people, and my mom always used to tell me, not everybody's your friend. True. So I was in basketball, so that's all I did. So everybody that I was hanging out with, all they wanted to do was play basketball and eat Wendy's. So we ate a lot of Baconators, and then we we played basketball. Literally summer days, best time of my life was summer days was when wake up in the morning, 11 o'clock, get into Wendy's, get that Baconator.
Hold on. You woke up in the morning at 11 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, I was a kid, so what else? So then get a Baconator and play basketball till it's dark, and then repeat it all day. And then, but then I transferred that in life and learning cultures. So, and the other thing, too, for me was language. Okay. So coming from Nigeria, Yoruba was dominant. Going to Ghana, Chi was dominant and Ewe was dominant. I'm an Ewe person. Okay. So my parents are Ewe. So Ewe was dominant. So I had to learn English, Ewe. I didn't learn Yoruba. I was learning French, and then I come to New York. Now everybody speaks Ebonics, so now I have to learn how to speak and Spanish. So my friends were half and half. My friends were black, and my other friends were Puerto Rican, Dominican. Yeah. So I ate a lot of penin. And anybody, if you got some, just call me. Yeah. Wherever I'm coming. So now I had to learn. I was learning Spanish, but I didn't take it seriously because as a kid I didn't think I would need Spanish or French. But now looking back at it, I wish I stuck with Spanish and French. So then translating that into mortgages is it's an acronym for every acronym. Yeah. And it all means the same thing, but you have to figure out that language. So building your network is important, and also learning the language to me will get you anywhere.
Now you read a lot. And to finish this off, what book would you recommend for somebody to be more successful?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Or what book changed your life? Let's put it that way.
There are a few.
Okay.
So There's one by Jocko Willis called Extreme Ownership.
Oh yeah,
There's another one, David Goggins. Both books. I forgot the name, but I think you know what I'm talking about. David Goggins, especially the first book. The first book is amazing.
Extreme Ownership?
No.
Oh, the David.
David Goggins book. He wrote two. Another one that I really like is he is, I think, Howard Horowitz. The Hard Things About Hard Things.
The Hard Things About Hard Things.
Yeah.
Okay.
He explains when he was starting his tech company how, everybody talks about, this is what you got to do.
Yeah.
But he explains like going through and firing people, hiring people, picking the right people to do what you need to do is all what leadership is about. And the biggest thing that stuck with me from that book was he's like, there's wartime CEO and then there's peacetime CEOs.
Yeah.
So if you pick a CEO where wartime is essentially you're growing, you need a CEO that can lead you through everything. Yeah. And then when you've grown and you're like an apple and things are, stable, then you need another CEO that can actually help you stabilize this. So, and just picking and sales team too. And picking your sales guys, there's somebody that can help you grow, and then there's somebody that can help you sustain that growth. Yeah. So it's all, those are the four books I would say that have really changed my view on things.
Well, Emenyo, I really appreciate you, brother. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being here. And if you want to give any last message, by all means.
I don't have any last messages now. Now that you put me on the spot, but hey, it's always a pleasure hanging out with you.
Pleasure hanging out, brother.
Thanks.
I appreciate you. And Emenyo, Chenoa Fund, Alfredo. See you guys on the next one.
See you guys.